What's up, guys? This is the second part of the video Zero to Hero with AI. I mostly wanted to prove that it was possible to code with AI, like even with ChatGPT or Cursor. In my opinion, I think I will not pay for anything else than ChatGPT because it have everything I need in it by just interacting with the conversation. I know some people will find it attracting to let the editor, let's say Cursor, to create files for you and handle like debugging or local creation of like I understand the point of it, but I don't feel the need to pay for that. And I also want to highlight that even if the AI know a lot and simplify a lot the coding task, you still need to understand coding in general to to output your ideas properly and create something that's reliable and will not break. If the AI give you code, you need to understand it, and you also like it's your employee. You need to supervise what he's doing because he's gonna make some mistakes. In the previous video, it was like 2 hours long. We barely achieve reading trades from a Telegram channel that offer binary option. And like I, f- as I said in the previous video, I've become lazy because of AI because I don't even take the time to debug a simple issue. So sometimes it's even subconscious. I got an error, I just copy paste it in ChatGPT, and it's gonna try to find. And sometimes because of that, I get stuck in a loop because I do not take the time to debug properly. So it's very important to understand that. I've been brainstorming on the thing that we made. So basically, we made a simple code that let us create a Telegram. It's using the Telegram API, not the bot API, just the personal API, to fetch ID of a group, so we can put it in the code. If I remember properly, um, the bot, like the goal is to copy trade from a guy that have a specific format and reproduce it on Cotex binary exchange. Um, what we've done at this point was connecting with the Telegram client. We also have a SQLite database that's locally initialized and running. And we also wait for any new messages. Oh, wait, let me just find it. We scan for new messages each 30 seconds, the last 100 message, for a specific channel. If it for each message, we call create trade function. Um, create a new trade from trade. We're checking if the message, because each message has its chat ID, and also for that specific group ID. If it's not there, we extract the trade details. Everything about the wait, we get from templates the extraction logic, the validation logic. This way we can return the data that we need, and it was more simple for me to like it was the idea I had. So because it's for someone, I might use it actually, but I like doing stuff that are modulable. So if you want to add an exchange later, if you want to add a group later, you can still do it without changing the old code, just changing configuration, or let's say database. Um, so extracting the trade detail, the validation logic, the extraction logic, we using that and that. See, I've been coding Python since 7 years, and I don't even know what these are, but I'm pretty sure that This is evaluate the given source in the context of globals and local. So it's most likely a Python expression or a call object, and it's gonna return true or false if it's passing the validation. I'm gonna show you what it looked like, and it's the same thing for execute the given source in the context. Okay, so it's executing Python code, and we are returning the time zone, the expiracy minute, the instrument, blah 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 blah. And the goal was to insert it in the database, and here we would start a new thread for this should not be there, by the way. We're creating a new thread at this point, and this was using Cortex Cortex sorry, Python Cortex library. We had some issue the last video, because for whatever reason the Cortex library I was using was asking for username, password, just importing the library, which seems weird a bit. So I found another one. It's been some days that I did the previous video, and I was brainstorming about it. There is some stuff that I don't like, because basically some trades might not let me just find it. Some trades might not return all these data, like time zone, expiracy minute, instrument. Like it should be different. It could be different for every group. My point is, an exchange need some arguments. In the case of Cortex, most likely is gonna ask for the time of the trade, the amount of the trade, the instrument, etc. There is also important data that we need to extract from that particular group, which is martingale, sorry, which is a stupid casino strategy mostly. That when a trade is failing, you're gonna double up the amount that you just lost and make a new trade in the same direction. This is the way this group is working, and I do not have any opinion on that, but hey. So I want to start the coding for today with that. Basically, instead of storing specific config in database for a particular group, I would create a directory called groups that own a file. Example, Magic Trader Group in that case. Point Python. That is a class. ID of the group is set there. The specific patterns to detect if a trade and extract the data will be there. So instead using the database, let me just get the directory, sorry. So we add that database. So let's say that was the group ID. Oh no, that's trade, sorry. We were able to extract the proper trades. This is the full message, but I remember the output of the terminal was formatted the way here, like the time zone, the expiracy, etc., etc., etc. Just gonna solve all of this. The template for that group, that's the template validation. If this is eval, which is like this code is mostly checking if emoticon emojis are in that line and that line. It's a valid trade. It is a trade because there is other messages in that group that I don't necessarily want. The extraction logic was this. I'm not sure if you can see it properly. It was mostly time zone expiracy. It's a code. It's code in Python. So the exec is going to execute that and extract the proper data. What I want. Specific pattern to detect a trade, extract the data will be there. I will also create an exchange directory with, let's say, Cortex point P, and that let me set a trade and also wait for it to return win or a loss. It should also be able to. I should also be able to code in that file example a martingale. Consider each group or in a thread with a small time sleep to let threads work, not blocking, and work together. Same for each exchange on each trade. on each trade. So basically, the brainstorm that I had is, this is too much hard coded for me to like it, because it should just return trade data, and depending on that particular group or exchange, I would handle it. Let's say my customer want to use Cortex right now, and he want to listen that group. So listen that group, but I still want the user to be able to listen multiple groups at the same time. Okay, so that's the first threading part. Then, if there is a valid trade, extract the data, whatever it is. And if we are using X exchange, be sure that the proper data for that exchange are in the trade. So in the case of Cortex, I think it would be like the instrument, the time, the amount, or stuff like that. Actually, amount is not from the trade data, is from a configuration. So I just want to really make it even more modelable than right now. I don't like the fact that the database is structured like that. I would just want trades, and instead I want directory. So I'm gonna go already create, exchanges. I'm gonna create a directory of exchanges and groups. So basically, for each group, I want a special class that that contain all the extraction and the patterns, stuff like that. And in the exchange, it's there that I want to load, let's say, Cortex exchange, and the way it's going to handle the trade. It's important to understand that I want to use threads, because if I'm listening multiple groups, and there is multiple trade, and maybe there is even multiple exchanges, I want that to work properly all together. I'm just going to add this. So if I'm listening multiple groups, or even use multiple exchanges, the bot should not be blocking and wait for a trade to be win or loss to continue processing new messages and waiting for current trades to see if won or loss. Okay, so we're gonna start with that. I'm just gonna drop everything here, including the files that I have for the sake of it. I heard that some people are having issue with files that is not really taking in consideration what is it, but okay, there should be no processing of a trade in the main P, and the data returned from the extract should be returning data, not a specific set of it. Like, this is days of brainstorm, trying to just looking at the code in my head. This way, the exchange can handle extracting the data it needs to process the trade. I also see the exchange waiting for the trade to be done, and remember, for that specific case, Cortex and that group, I want to use a martingale. Please keep in mind, should be modulable, so adding a group with its own trade format and strategy, and an exchange should just require adding a group class file and exchange file main.p. One moment, I have a call. Sorry, an exchange should just require adding a group class file and exchange file main.p should run listening threads for each group classes in the directory, and once a thread detected in that uh, group, also use threading to fire the specified exchange. Wait for it to win or lose or even nothing. It's okay to specify the exchanges to use in config or any. Let's see what it returns. Okay, to implement the system we described, we'll modularize the bus structure by dividing responsibilities between group-specific logic and exchange-specific logic. That's how we do. We ensure that each group and exchange run its own thread without blocking other process, allowing for multiple thread strategy to be handled simultaneously. Group-specific logic, the group ID, the thread detection pattern, the extraction logic. Let's go. Specific trade strategies such as martingale and betting side for that group. Yeah, that's okay. Exchange specific logic. Each exchange will have a Python class that defines how to place a trade, how to manage a trade for win or loss. The ability to apply strategy like martingale is specified. Okay. The main file that we are listening for a message for a group using threads. Once a valid trade is detected, it will pass the thread to the relevant exchanges, which will also run in a separate thread. Modular handling of group and exchange so that okay, that is the structure that I want for sure. Each group will run in its own thread to listen new trade. Similarly, when a trade is executed, the exchange will also run a separate thread. Modular design, configurable exchanges. Okay. Okay, I'm just gonna back up the stuff that we have because I actually might want to use it from that and go with another direction, but it's not for now. I'm just gonna add it there. Just gonna back it up. What do you mean? Oh. Huh. Okay. So we still have the config parser here. I see there is no database anymore, which is alarming. Okay, load groups and exchange function that is gonna load all the group classes. I love that, very modelable. Assuming the class name, match file name, okay. Loading all the exchanges. Function to listen to a group in a thread. Thread detected. Start a new trade. We're gonna get the exchanges here. If a trade is detected, we're gonna get the exchange. Start a new trade for processing the trade on the exchange. Sleep a small amount of time. I like it. Sleep time is in the group, which is it's okay. See, there is some martingale here. I like it. This is gonna be the return data. I like it. This is what I wanted, because this way the exchange can get the what's required. I like it. Yeah. I like the structure of it, but I already see some mistake, because of course the main stuff, the main program is dead now, because it's very different. There is no Telegram nor SQLite 3, which is very bad. Okay. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna just give you forgot the SQLite tree to related to a trade, but also the Telegram listener itself. Here is the working code that we add. Implement what you just said, which is perfect. In that, also make me magic trader group point p, considering this is the template and extract value we add. Just gonna go in the database, fetch that, so we should have a better understanding of it. Just gonna copy that. Yeah, that's not it. Oh, copy with headers. Sure, bro. I think they are. Yeah. Oh, okay. Let's see. Because the way he structured the code is what I want. Okay, so I see Teleton is still there, SQLite is there. Thank you. my Telegram API stuff. The database still there. Initialize the database, loading everything. For each group, we're gonna start a thread to listen for that group, which is perfect. We're gonna initialize the database, which is just straight now. We don't need the template stuff. This is lovely. And we're gonna with group client. So I think each group will have its client. Let's see how that works because well, we'll see. We'll see what it output. Get the exchange specific for this group. If trade detected, if exchange in the exchange, we're gonna okay. Let's see. So this is gonna become my main. You can see the difference from both of us. It's gonna be a lot different. Whew. Okay, so see, that's not working because this is already specified in the. It's nonsense. But the detect trade, the validation, and the extraction is perfect. Okay. I just want to see something. The Telegram client is loaded in the group file, but it's not. Okay, it's not in that. Okay. So the only thing that break my head here is why in the group config, in the group hard-coded, when we have config parser group. Explain me this. So see that's a good example why yes, ChatGPT and AI are useful for coding, but you still need to understand what the AI is outputting. Because if you do not understand it, you're gonna be stuck in problems loop, and you're gonna create the technical debt with that. So we are reading the config here again, but also that is not valid anymore. Yes, this is better. Yeah, so we're gonna pass to the exchange class. You'll pass the config object when initialize the group class. Yes, but where? Load all the group. Yeah, here. So we're gonna load the group class and give the configuration that's already loaded in the main file. Okay, so that makes sense. That's exactly what I wanted. So in the group, I'm gonna create a new file. Magic Trader group for sure. Let's call it this way. So as I understand, I'm not sure it's gonna work properly, but each each group's gonna get his own Telegram client. I'm not sure if it's acceptable, but I mean that makes sense for now. So we have a function that init a group. Uh, the client, each group have its client. This I'm not sure about that. And we have the template formatting that we previously had stored in the database. I'm just gonna clear the old database for now. It doesn't really matter. I really love it. This is the way it should be. Uh, just gonna call that P. Oops, wrong place. Group. Yeah. So that's gonna be our first group. I'm just not sure if it's if it's appropriate. Let's see. Just gonna pass the configuration here. Yep. I guess we're gonna pass the configuration to the exchange class. Okay. I yes, most likely. Um, thank you. Okay, so technically, what? But I don't understand. For each group line, okay, so the group is there. Okay. Because it's really important for me that it's not blocking. If we are in a trade, I still wanted to continue fetching other messages from other places, like, and Python is well known for that. It's blocking. When you're using threads, that's why like I sleep 30 seconds or 1 second at some point. If you have many threads that work together and they wait for something, what you usually do is you make them sleep. So while they are sleeping, other threads can work. It's not perfect, but this is this is the way I've learned to work around this. In another project, I've been using Celery, which seems to be a threading engine that like the goal was to create workers. Each user have orders, and it was very important that each orders are monitored separately without any delay to be fair for everyone. So there is other solution, but in that particular case where I want to use that myself or for my customer to fetch my groups from my Telegram and to trade on the exchange I want, it's gonna do the job. I'm pretty sure it's gonna work as expected. Just gonna change something in the configuration too. I don't like the fact that the martingale was there. Not really useful. I'm trying to hide my my configuration, but my Telegram configuration. Just gonna get the latest. Don't. It was exchange groups. Yeah, sure. Let's do this. Let me just find it. So quotex.p. Okay. I'm gonna add this. Quotex email base unit max martingale step. That's oh Quotex. I'm just gonna add something to it. Jeez. Quotex exchange. Magic trader group. Default Quotex exchange. Just gonna write it this way. Yeah. Just gonna update. This is the update in config I have made. Also, let's just try to run it first. Okay. So basically, it should create the new database too. Initialize database. Yes. Okay. Just gonna be sure that creating a thread, process trade, it's not gonna start because I'm not there yet. Gonna pass. Just gonna get the latest exchange too. Let's use the Quotex one they did for now. Quotex exchange. Gonna call it Quotex exchange for now. This is very basic. We get process the trade return data from that group. See there is custom for that group. There is custom configuration for that group. It's perfect. It's the way I want it to be now. Import time, of course, and we're gonna import that specific Quotex, a specific Quotex library for Python. Exchange, gotta save it there. Just gonna prioritize this. Actually, if exchange himself exchange, okay, makes sense. Let's try this. Python main.p. Here we go. Okay, so there is martingale steps error in magic trader group. I'm not gonna do the same mistake than previous video, so I'm not gonna go right into ChatGPT and fast it, but there is something related to martingale. For that specific group, martingale, right, config Context exchange groups. Key error. It might be this. At this point, you got my phone number. Let's see if that's fixed. Int group Martin just. Let's see what's the last test configuration they gave me. Let's check a bit because this is not really. Okay, let's explain it. Basically, I have this this is the update config that I want. I see there is an error. Like, this is not a bad error. It's just the way the configuration is structured is not the way I want it. And I'm lazy, so I want the AI to solve it for me. Do not want the martingale specific for an exchange, but for a group. Because the martingale should happen in the group, because let's say the current group that I want to listen use a martingale, but another group might not use a martingale, but I still use the same exchange. So the current call is still trying to access the value from the group. To ensure a group specific setting like martingale, step, and base unique correctly retrieved from the magic trader group section, need to modify it. Okay. Yeah, that's the only stupid thing that was happening. There is one thing though, the exchange return data group martingale step. So group martingale step. Okay, I understand. But there is one thing that bothers me a bit. What if I use another group that doesn't use martingale, but use Cotex exchange 2? This is a problem, no? Because in the Cotex exchange, we use a martingale in the exchange. I feel executing the trade should happen from the group class, loading the desired exchange class. Don't forget adding a new group with its own strategy. In the magic case, it's this. Could be other key value. Adding new group with its own strategy or exchanges should need to edit only config.ini and create a new group class. Yep. You're correct. If each group has different strategy or trade configuration, like more tangential to specific strategy, then it makes sense for the group class to handle the execution of trades, including how to interact with different exchange and strategies. This approach allows each group to define its own behavior without recording specific logic in the exchange class. Thank you. Group handle strategic and exchange. Exchange are modular independent. Exchange class will focus only on executing the trade and retaining the result. The group decide whether to use Martingale or other strategy and pass the trade exchange action. Config is still used to manage the exchange group setup. Group specific strategy. Each group will manage its own strategy. For example, the Magic Trader group will use Martingale, while another group could use a different strategy or none at all. This is exactly what I meant. Exchange handling in the group class. The group class will load and call the exchanges to place the trade and handle the result. Okay. Group specific settings from the group for that one. Load the exchange class specific. Load the exchange class specific. Okay. Okay, yeah. Yes. I think it's gonna work properly. But there is a thing that bothers me still. Let me just try to format it properly in my head. Okay. I'm gonna get it. Sorry. Applying Martingale strategy. Self-exchange process the trade. And we're gonna update Cortex 2. Oh, it's a fake actually. It's a fake Cortex API. That's good. That's actually good because I'm gonna be able to test it. Self-exchange procedure. So here I will want to change this. Should I change this to here? Also, yeah. Also, is the trade listening gonna be trading too? So this way, because it's very important that the trading happen executing each trade. Like we want a trade for each group, but also for each trade. For message history, with an attempt starting the trade for executing the trade. What is going to be the group instead? Group trading, listen group. Listen group. Listen group. So that's already working properly. but if trade detected. If trade detected, get the exchange specific for this group from config. That's not gonna work as I want. Group. What? If trade detected, get the exchange specific for that group. But there is none. Turn data if trade detected. Do I specify it? Oh, exchange. Okay, exchange name config. In the group reloading the proper exchange, which in that case gonna be the default one, Cortex exchange, which is perfect. So we don't need this nor this. We need this. If a trade is detected, we God, we starting a trade. It's gonna be group. It's gonna be group exchange name here. Self exchange. Is it self? I'm starting a new trend. No, it's not. It's not. It's not. It's gonna be this. Group execute trade. Yeah. And we're giving to execute trade the return data. Detect trade, execute trade, return data. We threading that function which gonna run for that specific exchange, which is set here, depending on the configuration here. It does make sense. You could also specify, let's say, this exchange, Cortex exchange, and use it here. Magic Trader Group exchange. So this is perfect. This is exactly what I wanted because I want to be able to add groups this way. I create a new file, I name it the name of the group, I put the ID, and I like this gonna be always the same thing, of course, but I just add stuff from the configuration, the basic stuff, and I code it like like a basic detect trade and a basic execute trade. Everything in that is gonna be how can I say that? Yeah, my point is I can create uh, new group specific detect trade logic and execute trade, and have a proper configuration that go with it. Okay, makes sense. It does. Okay, so there is no model name exchange Cortex exchange. Okay, I got you. No need of ChatGPT for that. I'll find it. Load group and exchange group class. Here we are using lower. I don't like this. It's probably because of that. Yep. So let's not lower it. Because I want quotex exchange have caps. Quotex exchange have caps. There is no need of lower. Sometimes it's better to format it like it's all. I understand why ChatGPT wanted that, but especially the fact that, let's say, the import module for interacting with the real Codex API, maybe it's called Codex. That's why I renamed it Codex Exchange, because in Python you cannot import Codex from a file that's like. I remember I had an issue with Telegram because my file was called Telegram and it was the same name of the import module. Like, it's very stupid, and it's so I just want to make it properly this way. Just gonna start this again. Codex exchange. I made a typo somewhere. Codex exchange. Codex exchange. Codex. Codex exchange. Okay. Model name capitalize. Again, lower and capital. Why? See, that's something ChatGPT does. That he did. Why would you do this? Why would you capitalize the name of the class? I specified it. Anyway. I have no comments on that. Do not assume. Okay, so the Cortex exchange initiation of the class take one positional argument, but two were given. I'm giving the configuration exchange class self-config. Yeah. Here. Oh yeah. Because I added manually that I wanted to add. I want to give to the exchange class the configuration too. It does make sense. But in the same time, there is something that I wonder: do I actually need the exchanges? In that, I don't think so. Because we are okay. No need to load the exchanges in the main Python, because the proper exchanges is gonna be loaded in the proper in the group. So I'm just gonna change the old function here for group exchange. Load group and exchanges gonna become just load groups. No need of exchanges anymore. Like I'm gonna use that later for sure, but it's the same thing than that. It's just the it's okay, just the directory. It's not the end of the world. Just gonna be sure that there is nothing called exchange anymore. Okay, because we don't need to load the exchanges from that file. Okay. From here. So get running loop, no running loop. That's an issue with Telegram and its function get running loop. I'm gonna be lazy on that one because I remember last video we had an issue like that. I think it was because we were running the event loop in a thread or something like that. I'm getting this error. Here is the latest working code. Notice I removed exchange related stuff from main.p since it's already in the group config. Yeah, exactly what I said. The error you're encountering is due to the fact that async event loop cannot be directed used in a thread other than a main thread. But in the same time, new event loop for each threads. For the thread, focus snippet. Listen to event loop. I'll try solving it. I mean, let's try it, but I'm gonna try it, but also as long because I don't think the customer or even myself will have so much group to scan in, let's say, 30 seconds, but in the same time, I'll try this. Listen group. Yeah, okay. I, it's not threads. It's not threading. But okay, let's try it. Okay. So this was an old message. I remember seeing this in the last video. That means we are actually able to get the video, the trade. Check with the show, but it's pending. Hmm. From what I understand, it's something related to the way maybe the message that was fetched was empty. From what I understand, the message that was given might be empty because I see which crashed the task. Check the message contain at least 3 lines. I, I'm just gonna take the time to open the old code because I feel I had this issue previously. I really do with the code. Just gonna use it. It's okay, bro. Okay. Message for group did not pass validation. Empty. Thank you. This is what I knew it. So it's Magic Trader Group detect trade just before split line. If message actually just before, yeah. Let's do it. For just gonna be cheap like that. Could have fetched the name, but so what? Again. Magic with a group if in line. If message. Oh, wait. I'm confused. Let's do some debugging because there must be something wrong. That's the full object message.message. Let's do it this way instead, so we can better understand what's happening. Okay. So beginner. So the message is not actually empty. Okay. So if message is empty, I still feel that I want that checked because there is no way I've put that in the passcode just for the fun. Thank you. Got it. Okay. Okay. Sadly, I cannot control C the code because of the thread, so I'm gonna be sure to have a way. I'm just gonna wait a bit, maybe it's gonna take 30 seconds. No. Okay. I'm just gonna crash it like that. Okay. I fixed it using from original code. I noticed that hitting Control C doesn't doesn't close the whole program. Now this is an issue I'm facing with threading. Make it in main.p that it's gonna close when keyboard Control C. Keep in mind we have threads running for groups and trades, so maybe wait for them and print waiting for X threads or just and then crash it. Sorry, close it. Just gonna put that's main.p. Here is the group. Just gonna give everything back to it again. This is the fake mockup exchange you gave. I just want to be sure that everything is there. I'm pretty sure we want all threads to complete and finish. That's appropriate. Keep track of all threads. Okay, makes sense. I'm gonna stage the main. Right, I'm gonna delete that. Delete the database. Sorry. I'm gonna ignore this. And I'm gonna ignore this. And I'm gonna ignore this. Stage. Better modulable config groups and exchanges. And then I'm gonna go in main and I want to see the difference between the two. So mostly just appending new threads for each group. Okay, a shutdown function and the keyboard interrupt here. Let's hope it works. I also remove the printing here, the debug, but what I would still want to do detect trade. Trade detected. What is trade? Oh, trade detected is a boolean. Return data. And we are appending to the threads to the trade threads, which is perfectly fine in my opinion. But is not defined, but it is. It's right there. Whoops. I'm confused. That's stupid. I hope it's not gonna output this old code again. The old. Sorry. See? That's stupid. Because it's not solving anything. Yeah. Okay, there's just one thing too. If Control C is it, I would like to. Oh, actually, it's gonna stop. It's gonna stop listening. Yeah, okay. Let's try this. No more database. We're starting for 0. So we got all the trades. See, there is debug trades none. That's not normal at all. Oh, I wait. If yeah, it is. Yeah, it's only if it's detected. Also, that cortex exchange. Oh, it's okay. Good. The Control C is not working because we are in so many trades right now. I'm not gonna simulate it here, the time wait. Yeah, for now it's random. Okay. Uh, there is one thing though that bothers me. Here, I'm just gonna check the database real quick. So basically, I don't want. Okay, yeah, exactly. Everything related to the old code. Sadly, ChatGPT completely removed it, which was um, so everything seems to be working except that if I check the old code, I see new trades were added to the database on new trade messages. There was also a check to not add to database if message ID was already there. And there was also a way for me to add a trade ID. Is it? Just go back. Trade ID, yeah. Chat ID and trade ID. Going to add a trade ID upon creating the trade on exchange to keep track of it if needed. That's very important because you don't want the same trade to happen. Um, like once a message is fetched and it's considered as a trade, we put it in the database. And also, let's say the bot is not running for, we still need to figure that out, but there should be a delay. If the message is older than 5 minutes, you do not consider it as a trade. Actually, you do, but you add it in the database, but you don't start it. You don't put it to the exchange. So it's important to keep that in mind. But still, just my goal right now is add all the messages that were trade as trades, and I think it's fetching the last 100 messages from now, and then we continue waiting for new trades. If the bot failed, there should be a way to load all the previous trades, but just do the one that are not too old since X delay. There was an update statement too at some point. Yep. Just gonna drop this here. That's the old code. Let's see. Trade. We have the cursor, the database cursor. Do we still have it? Yeah. Self-connect cursor. Yeah. Okay. So in the create trade, no shit. Okay. Create trade, detect trade. That's because that's in the. I do not want to add the trade just because it was made on the exchange. It's on message. That's important too. Uh, so see, ChatGPT is a bit lost in the create trade. It's not. It's not there. He actually lost track of what we're doing and the module that we just created for each group and exchange. That should happen actually. So we are executing a trade if a trade is detected. The return data, the trade detected. I think group detect trade. That's gonna return true and the data. I think we might want to. I mean, it suck. We should actually. Because if there is a martingale, it's gonna add. It's gonna be multiple trades ID. It's not important. It's not tracking the trade itself. It's just for the messages. So let's just do this for now. If there is a trade detected, it's gonna return true and its data. If detect trade, okay? Detect trade, yeah. If trade detected, um, actually the trade detected is a boolean, and the return data is the data. So I actually think, because what we want is to get the message, chat ID and group ID. Yeah. So what shall I do here? Detect trade, but the detect trade is getting the message, the whole item here. So okay, let's do it this way then. Let me just format this. Where's the close? I want to close the cursor. It's actually never closed. Okay. So what? Okay. Well, so we get the trade detected boolean, the returned data. We still have the full story, the full message dot messages, which is here. So message dot messages. This way we can do this way. Pretty sure it's gonna be valid, and this way. We don't necessarily need to do that check if trade is not detected. So that's gonna be if trade detected. Yep, that will make sense. So, is there any other cursor? Sure. Okay, so we're gonna fetch one if because it's a trade message. If the chat ID and the group ID is already there, we gonna so print trade already in database. Okay, so that's a first good start, and we're gonna do the actual because we need to insert it to only if the entry is none. Yep, message content. The way we're gonna do this is group ID chat ID and the content like technically we could load the old message, but what we're gonna do is um, probably format well, we could return data and convert it to a string. And let's see what that look like. Okay, we're starting from 0. I removed the delay here for the fake trading part because I want to test if the control C is gonna properly exit the task. Okay. Can be used in a thread. Okay, so we have threading issue with the database. In Cotex main, that's okay. 9122. Because I don't want lots of okay. I don't want the database to slow down because of each trades. Connection handle, let's check safe. Okay, we gotta see what it did. For each groups, ensures database. Yeah, okay. Yes, see the close is there. Gonna listen for groups. Process group messages, group create start, blah blah blah. Okay. Look, I'm just gonna take a guess and try it like that. Uh, this actually makes sense. Just gonna remove the database. So we have a new trade. Trade already exists for chat ID and group ID. Oh, so chat is not what I want. Okay, I'm just gonna hit Control C to see if it works after some time. It should. Okay, so Control C still not working. I'm just hitting Control C. Okay, so I know how to fix the Control C thing because what I want is when I hit Control C, I want to set a global value that if set to true in a thread, it's gonna stop what it's doing because currently it's waiting. It's waiting for new messages and it's waiting for the trade to be done. So I don't want that. For the trade maybe, but for the listening, I want it to stop. It should not fetch new messages. It, if the control C is it should stop and wait for the trades to finish for just in a trade perspective. Um, there is something that's weird though. Message chat ID and group. I'm confused because the chat ID, pretty sure that was working in the old code. Just gonna get it back. Group ID, chat ID. What is the chat ID? from the trade, create trade, message ID. I'm sorry. This is actually this. Okay. Yeah, so I'm mistaken the data from Telegram. Group ID. So this is the group ID. It's gonna be this. And the group ID and the message ID. Message ID. Yep, that make more sense. And for the thing that I mentioned, I think global stop threads. I think I'm allowed to do this. Listen to group. Process group message. We're gonna white out group while true. And it's sleeping here. What I want is if return. We're gonna close this right now and shut down. Yeah. Technically, I hope it's gonna fix it. Gonna delete the database again. Gonna open a new terminal. And we're gonna try this. The empty thing, I want to remove the debug too. I'm just gonna remove that debug, I don't like it. Here we go. Okay. Name stop thread is not defined. If stop thread, but it's a global. Okay, that's a stupid. Delete. Stop threads. Okay, let's not putting it as a global. Just put it in the class itself. It's acceptable. Self. Self. It's still in the. It's all in the same class anyway. Yeah. Let's try this. Okay, we have a bunch of trades. 1, 2, 3, blah, 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 blah. They are all different, which means the group thing was fixed, the group ID and the message ID. The time zone, expiration minute, instrument, blah, blah, blah. I'm just gonna see if there is. Let me just get the latest trade manually from the group. Because it's gonna pass, it's gonna get a lot. It's gonna get from the past one. Just want to get the latest one. Might need to populate the database if I might say that. The last one was NZDCAD, I think. So NZDCAD was the latest one. Let's just wait a bit. Go trade added to database. Okay, I'm just gonna check something because at some point, story message. At some point, we want to stop fetching pass trade. You know, it's not needed. Okay. Total message. Is it used? Total message. No. Okay. Offset ID is. But limit is gonna reach 100 at some point. Okay. What's happening right now is we're getting all the trades and it's not gonna stop. What I would want is get, let's say, X amount of the latest trade because we got the latest trade. The latest trade is the first one. It's okay to go in the past and fetch some, but at some point we want to stop at some, like, let's say 5 minutes, you know. What I want to test right now is Control C. I hope it's gonna work. After that, I'm just gonna restart the code to see if the old trades are actually not inputting in the database again. I think it's important. Also, I noticed something. The trades are actually not starting. We're creating the trades, trading trade, self-execute trades, and execute trade. Oh my god. See, ChatGPT removed the old execute trade logic. That was already implemented per the Quotex exchange. Okay, so let me just, the Control C is not working. Let me just make a list of what's working and not working. So I'm gonna close this video and I'm gonna go eat and we're gonna finish. This. So basically, Control C is not closing anything, even if I use self thread stop and set it to true. We're gonna pass the full code here or the section that check it. Worst case, I have another code that I made not a long time ago that was having this issue, so I'm just gonna go pass the old code from another project that made it work. I always have an issue with this. You remove the old old Cortex mockup. You okay? So that's a very good example of, you know, if you don't understand coding, you don't understand the code logic that ChatGPT is giving you. You just remove the one of the most important part of the code that was already actually made in a mockup in a fake in a fake trading simulation. But okay, so I'm gonna let you go on that, and we can start fixing all that at this point. Oh, sorry. Um, fetching past trades work properly, but we should consider a trade valid only if its Telegram message not too old in time. Also, it seems to be fetching past message undefinitively. Okay, the infinite loop after limit reach x, in that case sun, let's say it should restart to fetch, because what we want is we fetch the latest 100 trades. If they are too old, we do not process them. Once the 100 and even 100 is a bit too much. Let's put it 10. Actually, let's get the 100 last messages, but as soon we reach the 10 trades, we restart. That's what we're gonna do, and this is all gonna happen. So we need to fix the shutdown thing. We need to fix the execute trade that was completely removed, and this is here because we have the limit of 100. If trade detected, we're gonna have like a amount of trade, and we're gonna restart it if it's reaching let's say 10. So each 10 trades we restart. If there is a new trade, we're gonna get the last 10 trade. So there is one of the old one that's not gonna get fetched, and uh, the 9 last one are already in the database. And I remember I made that code because I know there is a way that you can wait for messages, but it was just better in my head, and it's not really demanding more for the code to just do this. We could also use the latest trade ID, which is the message ID, and if we reach one that's already in the database, let's do this. We could also get the latest chat ID that was stored and restart the loop if reached again, preventing useless looping through Telegram messages already preceded. So yeah, that makes sense. Okay, see you guys.